Happy 2025 and welcome to the first episode of Roll Call for the year. I'm Kim, and if you're joining us for the first time, welcome to Roll Call, TTSH Nursing's very own podcast brought to you by TTSH Nursing Organisation Development. So yes, once again, I'm Kim. I'm the usual host for Roll Call, and this episode is actually really special. It's our first episode of the year, but it's also really close to a certain date that is coming up soon, which is Valentine's Day. So for our Valentine's Day special and very first roll call of the year, we have a familiar face with us who has joined us in some of our episodes last year, as well as someone very important and very dear to her. Join me in welcoming Becky and Alex!
Hi!
Okay, so before we begin all the other questions, could you maybe just give us a brief introduction of yourselves?
Hi, I'm Alex. I'm a senior staff nurse at the emergency department in Tan Tock Seng Hospital, and I've been working there for about 3 years and a half since I graduated from NUS Nursing.
And hi, I'm Becky, as you have seen me before. I'm a staff nurse working at Ward 3A Neuro ICU, and I've graduated for close to 3 years from our professional conversion program from NYP, which is PCP.
Yep.
Hi.
And what's the reason why you guys are here on my Valentine's Day episode? Is because you guys are...
Couple?
Yeah! We're brother and sister, like, no!
Oh, no.
Yes, Becky and Alex are engaged, I can say.
Yeah,
Yes,
Yeah,
sure,
they're
go ahead,
engaged,
go ahead.
happily engaged, gonna be married soon. And that's why I invited them for today's Valentine's Day episode. Okay, so since you guys just introduced yourselves, how about a brief introduction of your relationship?
Sure. So, I would say how we met was pretty unconventional actually. So, back in 2017 when we were just two single birds looking around, we basically met through an online dating platform. For those of you that know, it's
Slay.
called Tinder
Slay.
in 2017. Yeah. So, I mean, like, since then, we've been pretty happy. Yeah.
Well, it might be, to some it might be scandalous, but well, we found each other and we're happy, yay!
Yay! Then, wait, so were y'all already like on the path to becoming nurses? Like, was nursing in the picture when you guys met?
For me, it was. So basically, during that period of time, I was actually taking on like part-time jobs first as an outdoor camp instructor, while actually waiting for entry into NUS nursing lah. Yeah. So
Okay.
from there, then once we met, she was basically doing other things lor. Yeah.
So Becky wasn't like on the path to nursing yet lah.
No. So actually, at the point of time, I was a bit lost in life, trying to figure out what to do after I graduated from my media-based course. Then after I met him, and then he was talking about nursing with such passion, so I thought, okay, maybe I should try to do something that's quite meaningful to my life as well. So that's when I started to like explore more about nursing, and then I got into PCP, and then got into nursing.
Actually quite cute because when I met my current fiance also, right, so I was already in nursing in NUS, then he was still kind of figuring out what he wanted to do after poly. Yeah, then he was figuring out like what he wanted to do for uni. So I was like, actually, okay, not nursing lah, okay, but not nursing, but still healthcare related. I was like, actually, how about you try physio? So then he went to study physio. So you see, it's all the nurses that always somehow we managed to convince all these people, like,
like psycho them.
should join nursing.
Nursing is great.
Right. Okay, so do you think working in the same field has affected your relationship in any way? Can be good or bad?
Start first.
I start first? Okay, can. So like in any relationship, there's always pros and cons
Of
to everything.
course.
So for pros is that we always have very common topics to talk about. Every day we come home, we talk about work. He talk about his patient, I talk about my patient. And the thing is that you be different patient, different disciplines, but we know what each other is talking. And because overall nursing is about the same, and then I can vent to him on my frustration. And who can actually understand a nurse better than another nurse?
Yeah,
True.
Very, very
I actually totally agree with that. But just disclaimer, PDPA, we don't share our patients' names or details, okay? Alright, okay?
course.
PDPA are nurses and PDPA.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's actually true. We have a lot of common topics to talk about. And I would even dare say that it can actually help us make each other better as nurses in the way, because we can actually bounce ideas off one another and actually make each other better in that way. And also we really just truly support one another, and also we get like this insider view into how each and every one of our wards or different specialty areas actually work, and that helps us in our daily work actually, because what happens is that, hey, I know how the ICU works now, then I can actually just like tell my ED colleagues like, hey, sometimes we expect this, maybe we can help them a little bit more with that kind of thing lah. So it's really like beneficial in that way, that it helps us meld together a lot of different things lah.
I always see those like, you know, those healthcare memes, I think especially from the States, right? Then it's like, they always say how like ED and ICU always have this like rivalry. Like ICU, like ED will call, right? Then be like, okay, the ICU staff will be like, can you hand over the report? Then they'll be like, the patient is here and alive.
No, not so much. We try a little bit more. Okay, we try a little bit more. We do hand over the medications that was given.
Yes.
But most of the time, it's like we just ask, oh, hi, is a bed available for us? Can I get the bed number? We'll still hand over, but our handover is more on the spot.
Of course,
it's not so much over the phone. But yeah, something similar. It's just like, please, can I get a bed, please?
Like, no space, later.
It's like two of the most intense and xiong like specialties around. So need to be understanding to each other.
That's true.
So like, you know, like if we ever like after work we'll talk about our colleagues, then we'll justify for, oh, this is why my colleague acted this way, and then he'll be like, yeah, this is why my colleague acted this way. You're like,
okay. So, I mean, speaking about how nursing can be like, you know, very hectic and very tiring, I think everyone knows and everyone is aware, you know, especially the past few years about how tiring, hectic, chaotic nursing is. How do you then balance your professional and personal lives, especially with the demands that come along with nursing?
I think honestly for that, right, how we truly balance it is that we actually try to always set aside time for one another. So what happens is that at the end of the day, what we try to do is we just really set aside a time whereby we can both air out any grievances that we might have, and just share how our day went, how everything is going, how we are doing, that kind of thing lah. But you know, some days when you really just don't feel like talking, or when you come home really tired, I think for us, how we actually deal with those days whereby we don't really want to talk, is we actually just sit together, do things together, just to be in the same space, so that the other party actually knows that we are still there. And we also can do small things to just help each other. Like for me, I know she terribly dislikes laundry, so I'll pick up all the laundry, no problems. I actually love doing laundry. I find it therapeutic. I always wash all the uniforms. Find it quite therapeutic lah, honestly, in that sense. So it's like doing those little things and just getting, you know, helping the other party de-stress and just being there for them even if they don't want to share about it. And it's no use forcing them to share about it if they don't want to.
Of course. Like nursing, I feel like can be very overstimulating sometimes. So I think people deal with it in two very different ways. There's certain days where you just really want to go home and vent to your partner. And I've heard pros and cons again, like because my fiance is kind of in healthcare also. So I completely understand that like how enjoyable it is to at least have that like common understanding. When you share certain things, you don't have to explain like, oh, what does that mean? Like, what does this? What did you just say? You know, like you don't have to like go out of your way to explain. But at the same time, I know that it can be an issue sometimes because people will be like, then I go home, I don't want to talk about work. But naturally, it just comes out because you know that person is able to understand it. Then there are those days where because you're so overstimulated at work, you just want to go home and not talk to anyone and just do your own thing, right? So like just knowing when to do what and having that balance, I think is very important.
Just want to move on from whatever that happened, because I don't want to talk about it, because once I talk about it, I harp on and on and on and it will waste my off day or waste like the remaining off day of my like morning shift. So I'll just be like, no, I don't want to talk about it. Let's do something else. Then we might go like grocery shopping. I'll be like, oh, let's just meal prep for tomorrow, or we can cook today, and then it just gets my mind off things. So non-nursing related. So I think very important is communication also, like what you need.
I honestly think another benefit of having another nurse in the household is that actually, in a way, you can actually help prevent each other's burnout, because you know sometimes at the end of the day you come back after a long stimulating day of either being chided by patients' family members or by having very sick patients, because I mean we work in a two very critical care
Yep.
areas.
Yep.
Like for example, the emergency department and the ICU. So normally, unfortunately, death is a very big part of what we see every day. And sometimes there are things that really hit home to us. For example, like family members who are so angry at a loss and don't know how to cope. So unfortunately, they take it out on nurses.
Yep.
Or if not, we have to be bearers of bad news together with our doctors for young families, and that is really quite hardening. So I mean, it's really great to have someone we can actually talk this out through and have that psychological support in a way to really reduce that burnout among us.
I mean, I guess that perfectly flows into the next question, which is, were there any struggles that you guys faced and how did you overcome them together?
One of the major struggles that we have faced so far is it's unfortunately me. Okay, it's quite a me issue So what happens is that sometimes when Becky comes home to actually share about her day, my work persona just comes out and I'm just like,
Problem solving mode.
Yeah, problem solving mode on. So it's like, maybe you should have done it this way or maybe that. So then I just go on and I just try to solve her problem, but then I just catch myself and just like, hey, hold on, wait, no, this is not exactly what she needs. And it's really not fair to her. But sometimes, I mean, like, I've already gone on, then it just leads to this whole big issue. Then we just have small fights that appear out of nowhere after that.
I will be like, I want to talk about this, Yeah, but you know, you actually could do it this way. Maybe it's like that. I was like, nope. Let me finish. I just let me finish.
Yeah, I understand, definitely.
So it's all about that compromise, honestly. So it's like just knowing what your partner wants to talk about, what they don't want to talk about, and just being really like sensitive in a way. So for me, it's still a learning process. 7 years on, it's still a learning process. Still must learn. Without fail, still must learn.
And I think with this, both of us are being nurses, so we're both very prone to burnout. So you really put all your emotional energy and all your physical energy at work. When you come back home, you tend to be a bit more short-tempered with your loved ones. So unfortunately, it can't be helped. You come out both burnt out nurses, getting angry at each other, like just like simple thing like, why are you throwing the rubbish? How can you not throw the rubbish? I even told you this yesterday already. And it's just, I think after a while, we learn that if we're not in the mood or we don't mean to say like certain things that we said, we'll quickly apologize, or we're just like, you know what, time out. Let's talk about this. And then this is not what we meant to, we apologize. And then we try to refocus ourselves and say, okay, this is what we should do today. And we should remind each other if we catch that each other is getting a bit more temperamental or just getting burnt out, or we'll just sit them down and like, do you want to talk about it? Or anything you want me to do to like just help you feel better? So this is how we try to mitigate it.
Like from my fiance and I, we've been together like 9 years this year, right? But I still feel like sometimes you need to remind, okay, like we say like, okay, we need to be super intentional about this. So if let's say one person comes home and then they're like, you can tell that they're a bit angry or like it wasn't a good day. I think we have been trying to be more intentional with being like, okay, do you want me to listen or do you want me to give you like solutions, or do you want me to say anything and give you my feedback? If not, then if you're in a venti mood, then I'm just gonna zip and listen. You know, if not, like what you said, my work nurse podcast host self tends to come up like, but what do you think? And then they're like, oh my gosh, no, stop. So I definitely agree. Definitely can empathize with you guys. What has been the most memorable experience that the both of you have had together so far in nursing?
I think for me, my most memorable experience, would be actually helping her get through her probation period as an ICU nurse. Because I really saw her struggling during her probation period. And honestly, I knew she could do it, but ICU is really, really tough. ICU was really, really tough for her, and I just saw her struggling.
So actually, I have been through his probation as well, and I think he didn't struggle as much. I've seen him struggle.
How long were you working already for? Then Becky joined nursing. You were working for a while.
6 months already. About 6 to 7 months. I was already working.
So we experienced both probation, but I feel like his probation is not as intense as mine. Because honestly, I gotta admit that he's really good at what he does. He's a great nurse. he's smart. Probation is like a breeze for him. And then I'm here just like struggling. I cannot remember my protocols. Hence the next episode.
ICU is such a heavy place.
So I really, really struggle, and then there are times where I just break down and I cry, and then he will be there to like justify, like, you don't compare yourself. It's okay, you'll get through this. You can do this. You really work so hard. You finish your PCP. You can do this. It's just 6 months of probation. Yeah, so he'll be there to motivate me, and then sometimes he'll study with me as well, because I still have to go in ICU. We have this ECCC course, so you'll learn like all the critical drugs and all the ECG rhythms and other stuff, and the ventilators as well. So this is a test. You have to pass this test. If you don't pass this test, you cannot go into ICU. So that's very stressful because so many things are at stake. So at the point of time, he will be like supporting me, studying with me, and then now that he's in resus competent. So previously, he had to do a resus course. So he can use whatever he studied with me in ECCC in his current course.
So technically, it was beneficial for the both of us because I did get like some insider knowledge on how ICU works, some of what their protocols are, and also I got a little bit of head start in finding out like, hey, what are some of the more critical medicines that are actually used in such areas lah. And I mean, like, how I supported her through the time was basically just do all the small little things like, hey, laundry again, and of course a little bit of cooking, cleaning here and there lah. So just to make her life that little bit easier. I mean, she's already going through such a tough time. I should always try my best to do it and make it a little bit easier lah, honestly.
Really give and take. I think in nursing, especially for people who have partners in nursing that might not be in nursing, I think there's certain times where you really feel like you need to give a little bit more than 100%, especially if they are really struggling in like during their career, or they really had like a really bad day. So give and take. Is important. Okay. So what advice will you give to other couples who are in the same profession to maintain a healthy relationship? I think you've mentioned a lot of examples already, but if you could sum it up.
So I think one of the biggest advice is you treasure your time together, because honestly, as nurses, you work different shifts. So the remaining time that you have together, or the ALs that you manage to ballot and actually get it together is very precious. So you should just treasure every moment, and sometimes if your schedule doesn't allow you to, you can you have to be flexible and then work around it. Like maybe sometimes one dinner before it starts the shift, end of my shift, will make a difference as well.
Yeah, and I like totally agree. It's really important to have that little time with your partner, especially if you're both working shift work, because things sometimes can get really tiring, and sometimes even though you might not outwardly say it towards your partner, you really, really appreciate all these small little efforts they take. Like for example, waiting for you to have dinner, or just like waiting that little extra shift more to actually just like join you for dinner before you start your shift. So small things like this actually like make your relationship stronger in that way, and like helps you like, you know, at least spend time with one another, because time is already so precious, and like you really, really need to treasure every moment of it.
I remember last year when Becky joined us for our filming, right? Then I remember I was like, okay, hey, so are you going home? Because we ended like, I think about like 5, 6 plus. And I was like, hey, so are you going home? And she was like, no, I'm having dinner with Alex because later he's night shift. So it's really being intentional lah, you know, to really put aside this time. Sometimes for some people it might come very naturally, but for some people you really need to sit down and study your roster the week before. Be like, okay, this day we make sure we go and eat, you know? Okay, so what's next for the two of you? What does the future hold?
I think honestly, the near future basically is something pretty exciting, because honestly, yay, we finally managed to ballot the same AL. So we can finally take a short trip to just basically take a break. Then that's all going to happen before our wedding prep starts. So wedding prep, wedding prep is really, really stressful.
In the far future, we'll have further studies to better ourselves, and hopefully it can help us with our future career goals and our promotion.
Okay, so thank you guys so much for sharing. Actually, before we end, I prepared a little game for Becky and Alex. I didn't preempt them about what it's going to be about, but basically it's a quick game about how well do you know your partner, nurse edition.
Oh no.
Okay, so keep your answer, I think probably like just one-worded answers. They'll be writing down their answers on the iPad, then I'll give them about 5 to 10 seconds, and then you just turn and then you see whether the answer is correct or not. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so the first question is, which is your partner's favorite shift and why? Okay. Okay, ready? You
Yeah.
turn, ah? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Let's see. Okay, so Alex is night because of the money. And Becky's is AM because of time after that. Correct?
Yes.
Correct, yeah.
Ding, ding, ding. Okay, nice. Okay, I'll ask the second question, then you guys can erase the first one, the answer first part. Okay, ready? Ready? What's your partner's favorite food to eat at work? Okay?
Done.
Okay, so. Okay, so Becky will be home cooked food, and then Alex is Western food store. Correct? What in the what Western food in the Western food store?
Pasta.
Okay, it's like yay, ding ding. Okay, the third one. There's a total of 6. Okay, so the third one. What's one thing your partner always keeps in their work bag or locker? Okay, go, show. Charms and hair gel. So it's quite funny because literally Alex just now, like when he came, he gelled his hair. But true,
Yeah.
charms, like on your bag,
Like in my pocket.
in your pocket.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
kind of charms?
Like just you know when you go to Japan, then you go to like Shinto Shrine or those, and you get those lucky charms.
Okay.
Those charms.
So correct, ah? Wow,
correct.
very good, guys. Hit your correct. Okay, 3 in a row.
Oh, yeah. Because I'm known in my department for actually having like my hair gelled up all the times. So for my sisters and all my staff that see me, yes, my hair is
Hair
always
gel,
gelled at work. 2 modes, you all see me in 2 modes.
Okay, we'll go to our 4th question. Ready?
Yep.
Wait, sorry.
Yeah,
Your page
ready?
just disappeared.
Oh,
Again.
it's okay. Wait.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, the 4th question. What's your partner's most impressive nursing skill?
Only
A
can
little
put one,
bit
ah?
more time. Huh?
Can you have
Only
one?
can put one? Oh.
Oh,
Sure,
oh.
you can put as many as you want.
Wait.
It'd be quite funny if this video like gets flagged for copyright or something. Because maybe I'm singing something that actually exists.
It's okay. It's you singing it. It's fine.
Okay, ready? Okay, go. So, girl, your screen is so dark. Oh my gosh, too many to count. PR skill and cannulation skill, correct?
Yes.
Too many to count. That's
Too
the
many to count.
PR skill showing,
Correct.
you know?
PR skills.
Okay.
PR skills.
Okay, second last question. What's your partner's biggest pet peeve at work? You're having a little bit of trouble answering this question.
Too many pet peeves.
Too many to count.
Too many to count.
3, 2,
Ooh.
1.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
Oh.
Both the
Oh,
same.
oh,
oh.
And okay is next of kin, so unreasonable, like family members
Yes,
of the
correct.
patients. True lah. Okay, that's true.
Unreasonable are not all in okay.
Not
Yeah,
all
please,
NOKs,
please.
okay?
Not all
Not
NOKs. So only those that are unreasonable or those that like pretend to help or try to like read the blood pressure and tell me something's wrong, but actually nothing's wrong.
I see.
Yeah,
I
those
see.
Google doctors.
Google doctors.
Google
yes.
doctors, yes.
Okay, last question. Last question should be quite easy, I guess. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
What's your partner's favorite way to relax after a hectic shift? 3, 2, 1. Okay. Cook and scroll Instagram. Correct. So Becky really a food gal, ah. Really like your home cooked
I love
food
cooking.
and all that. Okay. And really
Yes.
scrolling Instagram.
Yeah, I mean, I just like, I can doom scroll for like hours just to like turn off my brain. I'm just like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, sure, yeah.
Okay, oh, and that's the end of our game. Yay! Thank you to our guests and participants of the game. Sorry, I have no prizes.
It's okay.
Okay.
No need prize.
Okay,
We
thank
have
you
each
guys.
other.
So much. Okay,
Oh.
Okay. Okay. Before things get a little too much, that concludes this episode of Roll Call. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want, you can also check out this episode on Spotify and check out, of course, our social media on Instagram and TikTok at Nurses of TTSH. If you're new to Roll Call and our platforms, we release a new episode once every 2 weeks. So do follow us on our pages and keep an eye out for our next episode. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.